Mariscal Sucre International Airport opened in Quito in 1960. After 63 years operating, it became necessary to relocate this airport out of the city, since Quito had grown around it and the mountainous geography of the area was posing too much risk to the aircraft's landing and the entire Quito's community. Therefore, it was urgent to relocate the airport on a place with modern and bigger facilities, so it could accommodate larger aircrafts and increasing air traffic in a safer way for the Ecuadorian capital city. Mariscal Sucre International Airport currently handles about 5 million passengers and 164,700 metric tons of freight per year. DHL's logistic and relocation task implied to work with airport employees as well as with authorities from the Ecuadorian government, local police, and Quito's town council. A technical team created to attend and monitor the relocation operation was available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, during the most critical part of the project execution. Phase 1. Design and develop the strategic plan for logistics and relocation to new airport. On September 2011, with the design of the strategic plan for transfer, DHL started the work of moving the old terminal to the new Mariscal Sucre International Airport, located on Tapabela, a little town 25 kilometers away from Quito. The logistics needed for this size of operation, never seen before in Ecuador, include the training of all the people involved in the relocation in what concerned to inventory, communications, security and transportation. During this phase, it became clear that moving the airport operator was priority number 1. Later on, tenants would be helped to move after providing them with accurate information related to the relocation and mean to ease this process. This info include A. The relocation schedule, B. The external relocation routes between the old and the new Quito's airport, C. The detailed moving paths within the old and new terminal facilities so that each tenant knew exactly which collection of drop-off points, entrance, elevators, and internal paths to use. D. The relocation plan will differentiate between priorities for tenants or volume of non-critical items, which can be moved in advance, and tenants or volumes of critical equipment which would have to be relocated during the effective buffer time. Phase 2. Implementation and coordination of the strategic plan for logistics. For the implementation and coordination of the strategic plan for logistics, indispensable data was gathered. This data allowed fully understanding the operation of the old airport and replicating it successfully in the new one, taking advantage of the new facilities. This action set the basis for clear procedures that helped to manage the normal air traffic. All these contribute to reactivate the essential technical equipment in order to start the operation in the new airport within the previously defined deadlines. The implementation of a strategic plan also meant to identify the effective cutover period for the final relocation of critical equipment and repositioning of aircraft, alternates and its prioritization, the settlement of logistic technical contingency plans, amongst other important activities to successfully end the relocation. DHL promoted the familiarization and training of the entire airport community because this process had utmost importance for the successful opening of the new airport. This labor took place involving the participation of the airport authorities, public and private enterprise that worked in the airport, providing for it a direct service like tracking companies, fire stations located on the route to new Quito International Airport, Ministry of Transport, National Road Bureau. Phase 3. Relocation of airport material and equipment. DHL Industrial Projects Department gave the logistics and transportation services for the relocation of every property from the old airport to the new one on Tapabela. The Ecuadorian government, Quito's community, suppliers also integrated this logistic workforce, tenant public and private offices from the airport. security. The security process for the transportation was implemented once the investigation of the accidents and the monitoring of the corrective actions were finished. So it settled potential risks and solutions. It pointed out the critical risks appear during the freight handling. To minimize those risks, DHL came out with general guidelines to optimize the operation. These guidelines include Ecuador's health and occupational safety requirements, aiming to avoid work accidents. It was decided that the transportation path would include packing goods, load the freight, inspect this documentation and transport the load from the old airport to the new one and vice versa.
DHL posee una política muy clara en lo que se refiere a seguridad y salud ocupacional. Es una política que cubre todos los aspectos de la operación y de los aspectos también de la seguridad de las personas, principalmente.
About 80 vehicles, from middle to high load capacity, transferred tenants' properties to the new airport. It started on January 28 and continued until February 19. On 2013, these trucks had to face Quito's traffic jams on the road Quito-Tababela, having no incidents. Likewise, 48 trucks were part of convoys, formed by 6 vehicles each. All of them had police escort and transported heavy machinery that belongs to the airport tenants. All of this took place between February 10th and the 20th, the starting day of operations in the new Mariscal Sucre International Airport. During the relocation, everything was carefully watched through radio, cellular and GPS technology. It was arranged that every truck would show up 1 hour ahead in the stock center of Zambisa, so they could be asked for proper documentation and equipment related to workplace health and safety. In this meeting point, every load truck was provided with a sticker. What this identified the vehicles at the entrance of the new International Airport of Quito. To prevent and react effectively in case of an accident, on November 14, 2012, a monitoring simulation relocation was made from the General Control Tower, created specifically for that purpose. This station was supported by Keyboard, ADC and HAS, Quito's municipality, Ecuadorian police and army, local firefighters, amongst other public institutions.
El proyecto contó de 3 fases. La primera, que fue el inventario, saber qué es lo que íbamos a trasladar, el estudio de rutas. Después, el segundo fue ya hacer la propuesta logística y el tercero la ejecución, que es lo que estamos terminando ahora.
To avoid impact on the loads as much as possible during the relocation, DHL came out with a plan of mobility, which includes 2 options: Calderón, Guayabamba, Yaruquí, Tababela route to the north, and Carcelén Bajo, Simón Bolívar, Oriental, Tambillo, Amaguaña, Pifo, Tababela route to the north. A meticulous organization and execution of the transport operation to move safely Quito's airport and tenant machinery was made possible thanks to DHL job. About 90% airport belongings have been moved already to Tababela. By the end of the project, transportation would have involved more than 250 trucks, 9,600 small and middle-sized packages with office materials moved, and 3,000 more packages with bigger dimensions. Additionally, in the old airport, as well as in the new one, would have been used 3 cranes of 30, 35, and 50 tons, and 3 freight elevators with the power to lift between 2.5 and 7 tons, what means 12 giant machines.
Movimientos de aeropuerto específicamente en el mundo no hay muchos. Sin embargo, lo que DHL trae y pone sobre la mesa para esta operación es la experiencia que tiene en lo que nosotros llamamos proyectos industriales. ¿Qué son los proyectos industriales? Son movimientos que se salen de lo común. Necesidades de logística de empresas que manejan maquinaria sobredimensionada.
Since February 2013, the new Mariscal Sucre International Airport of Quito started its activities in Tabapela after its operation stopped for only minutes while the last trucks, led by DHL, were getting to its new facilities.
DHL est mondialement connu, a une bonne réputation, et la majorité des entreprises qui travaillent dans l'aéroport ont contracté DHL. Pour notre part, DHL a été choisi par les associés de corporations qui portent, et avec bonne raison.
Thanks to DHL team professionalism and the group work of the Ecuadorian authorities, every goal has been accomplished in getting down one of the most ambitious and more relevant projects for the Ecuadorian economy. So DHL has contributed to Ecuador development, providing its skills to the consolidation of the hugest infrastructure project Ecuador have ever experienced, which can only bring prosperity and progress every time a plane cuts through Ecuadorian airs.